Hello and welcome back to the Bright Light Wellness YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here. Today, I want to chat with you about being the change, right? Like, I think it's a famous quote, like, be the change in the world, like that you want to see in the world, right? You have to be the change. So I've been on a healing journey, I don't know, let's see, 5 years or so. And what I've learned through those 5 years in making a lot of changes in my health and my habits and routines, like my habits and routines mainly to support my health and healing, is that you cannot force anybody else to join you in your habits and routines that you are choosing to do for your health. So that force is always going to meet resistance. You're always going to bump up against it. Because if you're telling people what to do or forcing them or putting these, limits on them, and it's not like there's not an intrinsic motivation and self-motivation to do said things, you're just going to bump up against that resistance and you're going to be fighting with them and be, causing more conflict and more stress in your life, especially as a parent when the kids don't do what you want them to do. Like I got into my health and healing journey when my kids were teenagers. So, and then there was also a very long period while I was very sick where I was like not a mom. So iPads and electronics became their babysitters because I was so sick and debilitated that I actually couldn't be a mom. And that's not healthy for them at all, but it's just what happened and what was. And I don't have any, I mean, of course, I wish that didn't happen, but it is what it was. And thank God that I'm not there and they have a mom now, right? But we have to understand though that they came from that. And then like trying to push a lot of restriction on them, it just made things worse and it made more resistance. So what I've noticed that I've done in the last, like the first year when I learned all my health things, right? I'm like, oh, they have to eat this way and they have to do this with the lights and they should be outside and they should be barefooted, but like all these things. I'm like, I wanted them to do it all with me. I wanted to feel less isolated. I wanted to feel less alone. I wanted to feel, because I knew these things were helping me and I wanted them to be a part of that, right? We all want community and connection, but the more I tried to push and force my husband, my parents, my brothers, my mom, my family, my friends, my kids, the more I met resistance. So the less I did that for about a year, I met that resistance for about a year. And then as I started learning and kind of growing and evolving myself, I realized, well, I'm just going to do what I need to do for my health. And if they want to join in with me, wonderful, great, right? So I just was the leader. I was being the change that I wanted to see in the world and that I wanted to exude. And the more I've pulled back and just kind of be the example, the more that I see that they are more willing to trust, to listen, to learn, to try things on their own because it needs to come from an intrinsic motivation. I'll share this story. It's making me think of this story is um, many of you might know if you've been following my YouTube channel for a long time that I used to be 60 pounds overweight. So I was very heavy. And about a year after my third child was born, Matthew, who is now 9, he's going to be 10 this December. A year before that, the year after he was born, excuse me, I was scrolling one night late on my phone, which I would never do now, but I didn't know a lot of things back then. And I realized like I put my weight and my height into like a BMI calculator and it said I was obese. And I just decided, oh my God, I cannot be obese. That's not who I am. And I decided to take control of my health and I went to Weight Watchers and I rapidly, which is not healthy for you, lost 60 pounds and got really into health and fitness. And then I didn't learn that lesson again. You see, the patterns always repeat until you learn the lesson. So I was trying to force everybody on it. So then again, I had to let go and push back. And then eventually my husband decided that he wanted to start taking care of his health and he lost 60 pounds as well. He's thus gained this weight back after that because I had a chronic illness journey after that, which put a lot of stress and pressure on all of us. And I mean, I don't share the depth of what happened in my home very often, but I am more willing to share now because we're in such a better place. But literally my whole life fell apart. Like, I mean, there's no other way to describe it from to, you know, being in debilitating chronic pain to not sleeping for a year to being extremely depressed, to having suicidal depression, to just sitting on the floor and being unable to like get up to actually like take care of my family, to just like just I mean it was bad. And like my parents didn't my well, my parents couldn't stand my suffering, but that wasn't what I was saying. My children lost a mom and my husband lost a wife, and that you don't heal from chronic illness like this. Like it's not like that. That's not reality. That's not typically not a spontaneous healing. It's a slow, gradual progression back to health. And that's what mine was. And a lot of healing has taken place within me and within my whole family unit because we are forever in quantumly entangled, right? So I I know what it's like to be at that like very rock bottom place, and I know what it's like to be to feel desperate and fearful and trying to crawl out of that. But my point was is that you cannot force people to join you along. The best thing to do is just to be the leader, to be the example, to be the change, to be the light. And then like of course when you're healing and you're getting better, you're excited and you want to share those things, right? And you want to push it on people, but pushing it on them doesn't work. And my point was is that the reason why my husband wound up gaining his weight back is because it was a very stressful time for him to have to carry all the financial burden, to have to deal with to be the wife and be the mom, to be the to be the father and the mother, really for a long time. And it's only until recent years that I've been able to step in back into these roles, right? So it's a lot of stress. But anyway, my point was is I didn't learn that lesson originally with Weight Watchers when I was doing that, right? I lost the weight, then I didn't force. I tried to force, it didn't work. Then I didn't force, and then I just let the allowance happen, and then it happened. And then of course my health crashed. And now I'm back in this allowing phase. We kind of swing these pendulums back and forth, right? I'm back in this allowing phase and just trusting. And I've seen like some shifts in my family that I think are just really amazing. Like they trust me as a homeopath that has grown. Like they trust me when they have a health issue. They ask for my help. They ask for my support. What can I do about this? They see me as an expert. They see me as this person who knows how to take care of their health and who helps others. And that's what I wanted, but I couldn't force it to happen back then. It had to happen on its own. So we cannot force because it meets resistance. We just need to be the example, be the light for our family, for our friends, for our community, for whomever. And eventually, as you heal, they will start to see you in a different light. And then they will start to mimic it because they are like, oh, I can also be like she's doing so well. I can also do that too. Like, what is she doing that I want to be interested in? And when it intrinsically they feel like they're ready for it, then they'll make those shifts and those changes, right? Um, so it's really, really important. And I was going to say that like the more we are really energetic beings, we're light beings, energetic beings, we're really energy. Okay. And we have what's called biofields, like we emit energy. We have fields around us that emit energy. And our fields, our energetic fields, are entangled with the people that we are, in connection with very strongly to the people who are genetically, right? We're genetically entangled with, like our children and our parents and our brothers and sisters, right? And our family and our husbands, right? And they even say like the more that you are with somebody for the rest, like, like a couple, they start to look like each other, they act like each other, they behave, we become really enmeshed, right? Um, so when you strengthen your field, right? You strengthen your internal field, your external field, you release the blockages, you heal at these deep levels, your field becomes stronger, right? You're stronger, and then you can support the weaker, right? The strong really do build the weak. So as I've been healing, I've become a lot stronger. My presence has become stronger. My convictions have become stronger. My own beliefs and values and boundaries have become stronger. My body is physically stronger. All I am strengthening my field. My energy flows better. I am more quantumly coherent, right? My my intuition is stronger. My downloads are stronger. My whispers are stronger. I can feel it, right? So my point is that as you're strengthening your field and working on yourself, this has a quantum ripple effect to the people that you're entangled with. And not only the people in your family, but into the whole universe, right? Into the people who listen to my podcast, the Quantum Health Connection, the people who are listening to this YouTube channel, Bright Light Wellness, the people who are in my field. These fields expand. They send out information into the ether. So people who I coach, people who are my homeopathic clients, all of this, like these stronger individuals can help support the weaker individuals. That's always been the case, right? So by being that light, by being that change, by supporting my own body's energetic healing, right? And supporting my own quantum field and making myself stronger, my cells, my energy more coherent, right? I'm helping to entrain the weaker fields that are in within me, and especially the ones that I live with, like my husband and my children and my parents and my friends and the people who I'm very entangled or enmeshed with, their fields will get stronger. So they will have healing just by you working on you. Like if you have a child who's struggling with something, you working on yourself and your own healing is going to help heal that child immensely. So be the light, be the change, do the work for you, and know that the work that you are doing for you has an impact on all those who are entangled with you, all those who are in your field. Right? When I'm doing my rhythmic movements or doing something that regulates my nervous system, or I'm using homeopathy for myself, I know, or seeing the sunrise or grounding or anything. At first, when I did it, it was for selfish reasons. I will admit that. I was so dark and despair and needed healing. I needed to take care of me first. My body needed help. I mean, it is no other way to describe it. And it needed a lot of support, and it still requires support. And that is another lesson that I've had to learn, is that healing is not like, it's not this like quick thing. It's not, there's no quick fix, and it's a process, and it's nonlinear, right? That's another whole conversation. And I have days too, but I know, but I have days that are hard, but I have tools that work, that support me and help my healing continuously be in the right trajectory. So if you were going to look at it, a graph line, it might look like this, right? But it's going up in a positive direction, right? There's a lot of things that I'm mentioning here today. It's just kind of, this video is, I know, a little bit all together rambly. I have thoughts in my brain sometimes, and you just get the vomit of it. But just be the change that you want to see. Be the light, be the support, work on you and train your field, make your field stronger, because stronger coherent fields will build weaker coherent fields, and you will build that person. You will help the people that you are with. And I want to share a couple little stories, like with my kids that I've seen. Like I said, they'll go to me if they have an issue. They know I can help them. They ask me questions. They're curious. That curiosity is the key. How can I help? What can I do? And I tell them things. And whether they decide to do them or not, just like a good coach to any other client of mine, is up to them, right? But they're curious and they're learning, and that's what's important. Like, for example, I do a lot of, I write little notes on Post-its, right? This one says, life is easy for me, right? Because sometimes life can feel overwhelming and hard, right? So this one says, life is easy for me. And I put it underneath my water, right? And that energy or that message is being imprinted into my water, that life is easy for me. It's easy. So one day I get up and I see my son. I go to wake my son up for school, Matthew. He's 9, and he's got a Post-it underneath his water. And it has all these little messages, like tons of little messages written. You are strong, you are smart. Like, I can't remember them all. Like, but just all these little messages that he was imprinting into his water. I was like, I am doing something right in this world. Like that capable, that first of all, understanding that that could actually be supportive to him, and that he's picking up on what I'm doing and he's trying it, right? My kids, they want to drink the structured water that I do from the MEA water device. They ask for it. They ask for certain supports that I use, like homeopathics and how to get in the sun correctly and how can I heal this or how can I work on this. They're starting to see me as a person that they can go to for healing and as the person who they want to aspire to be like, who has knowledge, who has wisdom. And that was one of the things that I really wanted to happen for me as the in my family. But I didn't push it in the last couple of years. I just allowed and did my thing and it worked on me. And then they just started to follow along, you know? So that's my message today. I know this was long-winded and I hope it was brought you value and support. But if you're on a healing journey, first of all, if you're on a healing journey and you're in a rough spot, know that I understand. I get it. I've been there. And healing chronic illness takes a lot of a multifaceted approach. And it takes approach where you're trusting your body, again, surrendering to the process, trusting in the universe, trusting in your body. And it takes a lot of grit and courage to heal the right way. I don't want to say the right way because that's not a good word. To heal in a way that's going to be long lasting. And I understand and I've been there. So if you need help, I'm here to support you. I do offer coaching sessions. Like if you want to just book in with me for coaching sessions, I also offer one-to-one packages. I also offer personalized healthcare plans as well as many webinars to support you as well. So you can check out my offerings at brightlightwellnesscoach.com. It'll be linked below. Because sometimes we do need support on what do we do? How do we support our own health so that we can support the health of our family and be the light and be the change and be the one to help shift things in the family dynamic, right? Or in their community, right? If that's what your goal is to do. So let me know if you need my support. I'm here. And let me know your comments, questions, concerns, or your experience with this in the comments below. I'm always curious. I mean, I know that I'm always evolving and I'm always learning, and I'm always trying to better myself in all the ways. And I just think that the more that we take care of us and the more that we practice our own self-care, which is certainly not selfish, the more that we can support others and the more that they will look to us because we are the change and we are being the change and we are being the light, and they will see that and they will look up to that and they will want to aspire to be like that. So yeah, I hope that's helpful and supportive, and yeah, have an awesome day. Thanks so much for listening.